So it happened.
When you were playing that record, what were you thinking?
For those of you that watched the first band vlog, you'll know that I hinted towards a project that was coming up, and I'm happy to say that it finally happened. So on the 9th of October at 7 AM, Joss, Adam and I get into my car with the instructions of get to Oxford for a band shoot. Now we knew what songs we'd be playing, however, we didn't really know what else to expect of the location. And when we pulled up after 2 hours on the road, we were not expecting what we saw. As we pull into the car park, there's this huge building just covered in ivy. Like red and green autumnal colours all the way across it. It's like absolutely staggering. But it was just abandoned. There was wood across the doors. There was dust in the windows. Across the way from it were all of these classrooms that looked like people had just got up and left. There were even still books and Bunsen burners in these biology classrooms. And that's because we were shooting at this abandoned place called Carmel College. Now, Carmel College, I did a bit of reading up on it. It was shut back in the 90s under the Labour government when they withdrew funding from the school. It's described as the Jewish Eton, so there's a whole list of notable alumni from there apparently. As we look across the car park, there's an old computer lab that looks like it's lifted straight out of the 70s. Like I said, there were these abandoned biology classrooms that still had Bunsen burners and notebooks, but there were also just plants growing from the ground where nature's starting to take back over. The first thing we did was check out inside of the synagogue, and this place was stunning. There's stained glass with Hebrew written all over it. There's huge acoustic treatment panels. There's a stage that just looked like it could be used today. There was almost something ghostly about it, where this place had been used so much over so many years and created so many memories, and now is just left, just completely as it was when it was last used back in the 90s. So after checking out the synagogue, we start to unload the band and take it in towards the school. And as we're taking the gear over, we notice this amphitheatre. It's huge. It looks like it could sit easily 300 people. And it's just sat there with moss growing all over it. We walk through these big doors and we're met with what can only be described as the closest thing the UK has to offer to Chernobyl. There's just this long corridor with doors on the right hand side, and as you look through each one of them there's just remnants of what was. There's changing rooms and toilets, and when you reach the end of the corridor, that's when you see it. There's just this massive swimming pool that's completely drained, other than some green scum that has built up over the years. And as we look through the door into this room, we couldn't help but let off curses under our breath for how just taken aback we were at how beautiful yet decrepit this place looked. And then as we moved past the doors to the swimming pool, we went into the place where we would actually be shooting this video. A school gymnasium fit with basketball hoops, climbing frames, a raised bleacher area, all in pristine condition considering this place is derelict. Of course there was some notable wear and tear, but it was just near perfectly preserved from how it would have been. And so after taking all this in, we got to work. We set up the gear, the camera crew loaded in all of their stuff, set up huge lights that mimicked the sun, and it all started taking shape, and I couldn't help but think to myself, holy shit, this is going to be a cool video. So now that all this is set up, we start doing a bit of a warm-up, bit of a tech rehearsal, and it didn't really hit me until this point just how cold it was in there. This is middle of autumn, but it felt like the winter. And I can't help but feel sorry for the kids that had to be in there during the cold. As any of the people that play music know, one of the hardest things about playing in a cold environment is keeping your fingers warm, and that was no different here. We had to warm up for a good 25 minutes to even start feeling the notes that we were playing. And so after we warmed up, we stopped for lunch and I got to meet some of the crew a bit more personally. And I have to say, I've never met a lovelier group of people. They were just so personable and welcoming and warm. They just made it feel like it wasn't our first time doing this. There was the director Tom, the producer Haber, the co-director Taylor, the makeup artist Chloe. Everyone there was just so lovely. And so then, after lunch, we got our makeup done and started shooting. And what followed was just 6 hours of focus and intensity, and more than anything, fun. We were just all there as mates, and it kind of hit me halfway through the day, like, I haven't seen these guys in months. I've spoken to them over text, I've called them, but this is the first time we've all been together, like, back as a group. Yeah, it kind of hit me that I miss them a lot. It really gives me hope for what's to come. Like, more than anything else, it makes me think that if it was possible to do this production, then soon we're going to be able to start practicing together again more often. We're going to be able to start making videos. We're just going to be a step closer to what once was for all of us. One of the standout moments from the shoot for me is Taylor, the co-director, said to me, like, just give it your all, have a bit of fun with it. If you see the camera pointing at you, just like interact with it a bit. I think I might have taken it a bit too far, because somewhere in my Cro-Magnon brain, when the camera pointed at me, I just thought, high kick. And so in the middle of Forever Isn't Long Enough, I just stomped my way over to the middle of the set, kicked my foot up as high as I could, and just went mental. And afterwards, Taylor just came up to me and went, yeah, that. So after this long shoot, we were all pretty exhausted, but there was just this feeling of absolute elation as we were packing down. There was just this unspoken agreement between all of us that was good, and we had had fun, and we had enjoyed ourselves. And I think it's something that had really, well, I don't know about the other guys, but it's really escaped me. To give a bit of context, September last year, before that, I was just writing music in my room. I hadn't interacted with anyone musically in so long, until I got a text saying I'm looking for a bassist. And then I was given this chance to go on tour with Sports Team, which was mental. And we played shows that were sold out. And I jumped into crowds. It was sweaty. It was fun. It was just complete elation. And then all of a sudden, in March, literally just before we go on stage for the final show that we play, we're told, this is it, so give it your all. We weren't told that it's the last show we were ever going to play, but it had this feeling of just like, this is the end of this current chapter, and we don't know when the next one's going to start. And holy shit, I think that chapter just started. I'm just at a consistent loss for words at how it feels to be back to doing what I love. And I really hope that it's not 7 months before I get to do it again. So with that, I just want to say a huge thank you to Alfie, Joss, Adam, everyone that worked on the shoot, for just making the 9th of October a day that I'm really going to remember for this year. You can find the behind the scenes video that I'm putting together for Alfie on his channel. You can find the actual videos that we shot on Alfie's channel. And I shot a roll of Super 8. Oh, in fact, I'll show you this. I shot a roll of Super 8. I shot a roll of Super 8 that I'm going to be using for the behind the scenes video. And thinking about it, I might just release the entire roll on my channel later on down the line. So if that's something you'd like to see, just let me know. But with that, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.